All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We missed yesterday, but we're going to get today, baby. We have a lot to do today. Holy shit. We got Cooking with Tiff coming up. We have to recap this sentencing, which is going to be awesome. Um, we got a lot of things coming today, so stay tuned. I'm about to be in the laboratory all day. It's crazy you take one day because shit happens and so many things happen. Like a million things happen and it's like, oh fuck. Oh well. No peace. What's up, Brittany Mercer, Warrior Woman, Julian Claire? What's up with y'all? So we're just gonna do a quick recap of the Wade Wilson sentencing, ladies and gentlemen. Clearly and obviously, I missed yesterday. But JSP, fuck, all I know is JSP streaming it, honestly. I was watching it at the tattoo shop. I was like, shit, let me tap in with the rest of y'all. But anyways, man, we're about to do this for ourselves. And at least this time, we can get to the best parts and we don't have to sit through, which I did want to do, which I'm actually kind of sad I couldn't do. But none the damn less, we are here as an army. You know what I'm saying? All 32,000 of y'all. What's up, Rye? First time here all the way from Denmark. Hey, there's a few people from Denmark popping up. Shout you out, Rye. Shout you out. Lori, what's up? M. Shaw. What's up, Donna? Irish Pastry. Ramona, how y'all doing? This guy in the stand wasted a lot of years knowing nothing. Okay, so we're just, I think I'm going to skip through the brain scan stuff because I know it's a load of fucking bullshit, but I didn't want to just full on skip through it. So we're going to check out what bro had to say real fast. Hold on.
Since 1999.
Right.
Excuse me? To medical school. Thank you.
Well, he didn't get fatter. I thought he was going to get fatter, but he looks the same. He just looks a little uglier. That's that jail stress. You age. You notice he aged a little bit? Ooh, excuse me. That's that jail stress right there. Oh, my God. This guy was so boring. Don't worry. We're not going to fuck with him long.
My name is Mark Patrick Rubino.
Mr. Rubino, how are you employed?
I'm self-employed
All right.
as a neurologist.
Are you an MD?
I am.
Can you give us a brief background of your educational history?
Yes, after graduating from high school, I entered into a 6-year BS&D program through Kent State University in Northeast Ohio, and then went to medical school at Northeastern Ohio University's College of Medicine.
Oh, shout out Law and Crime.
Medical school at Northeastern Ohio University College of Medicine, which is now Northeastern Ohio Medical University. And then I did my transitional residency at Summa Health Systems in Akron, Ohio.
He's a stay-at-home and drink-all-night neurologist. Why the fuck you guys saying this about this guy? Are they about to like cross-examine him with some crazy shit right now? Like, what's...
And then neurology residency at USF in Tampa. And I've been practicing in Naples since 1999.
Right. You specialize in neurology, is that correct?
I do.
Are you board certified?
Shout out the El Salvadorians out there. One of my good homies is Salvadorian. Shout you out, bro.
In neurology?
I am.
Have you ever testified as an expert in a case and allowed to give your opinion in a courtroom before?
Yes.
How many times?
This would be 78 times.
Okay. And the majority, if not exclusively, is you're a witness for the defense, are you not?
I am, because I've never been asked by the state.
Obviously, you have nothing in your background or anything that would prohibit you from testifying on behalf of the state, do you?
Not at all.
You just never had that opportunity.
Correct.
And are you being paid for?
Oh, hold on. I'm going to minimize this for a quick second. Look at the fucking comments. You're going to see so many blue hearts because apparently Wade's favorite color is blue or some dumbass shit. You're gonna see so many blue hearts being spammed in here. Honestly, I don't think these women really believe in what they're saying. This is just something fun. Oh, he's hot. Just free him. You know, it's not like they really believe in it. I think it's more of just like a fun thing to do. But look at the comments.
Evaluations and your testimony here today,
I am.
and at what rate?
$400 an hour?
Is that the rate approved by the JAC?
It is.
Well, there's no comments running, so let me open it back up. I don't know what's going on with the
Did
old
you
comments.
have an opportunity to become engaged with our defense team?
I have.
And do you recall just approximately when that was?
Sometime in March, I think.
Okay. Do you know Wade Wilson?
I met him.
Did you had the
Wait, he's shaking his head like, yes, yes. I can confirm that. I can confirm that. You fucking moron. This guy. After hearing the jail calls, like I used to like I can't take him serious no more. At first you could take him seriously, but now that I know he got his ass fucking packed out, his teeth kicked out for having sex with a guy in jail, he talks crazy to women like he's 12. He has boyfriends. I can't take him serious. Honestly, the first thing I can think is like, yo, what a bitch over there. Like, honestly, look at the little shit tattoos on his face. Like, bro,
opportunity
can't take him
to
serious
talk to
no
Mr.
more.
Wilson?
I did.
The jail calls ruined it for
And-
me.
And how did you talk to Mr. Wilson? In person?
You can say that. The first part was in person with him basically bound and shackled. And that's when I did my exam. And the second part was with him still bound and shackled behind a glass wall.
Okay.
But that was in person, I take it.
All right, the first time you visited with him, when he was bound and shackled, but you actually had contact with him, for what purpose was that contact?
That purpose of that was for my
Schmoopy said his broads need a brain scan. I agree. His little fan base needs a fucking brain scan and some
exam, my
some
neurological
therapy.
examination.
Okay. What type of neurological examination?
Just a neurological examination.
Do you run several tests?
Yes, it has several parts to it.
All right. Why don't we go through the parts one at a time? What's the first part?
Mental status.
Okay. And how do you test that?
I would usually do a Montreal Cognitive Assessment as a formalized version of mental status.
I'm going to have
Why
you
does he
speak up a
sound
little louder.
unsure?
Sorry, it's hard to hear you.
Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test.
And I'm sure the judge has heard this before, but for the record, can you tell us what tests or what examinations comprise this?
Of the mental status?
Yes. The cognitive test
Yes.
that you said was the first
Why does
test.
this guy seem so unsure? Did you not like review your notes before this big day, sir? Like what the fuck?
It's broken down into visual,
He
spatial,
just sounds
and
unsure.
executive.
And he sounds like irritated that they're asking him questions. Like, bro, this is what you're here for. The fuck?
Naming, memory, attention, language, abstraction, delayed recall, and orientation.
Okay. And so how do you test for these?
I test for them.
First part,
This guy sucks ass, bro. What the fuck? This is the best they could have done?
have him do the first part. Very first question is something called trails, where he's connect letters and numbers in sequence in a pattern that's been established.
No, they didn't get knocked out when he did his second lady. She fought for her life. No, how the fuck is she gonna knock a grown man's teeth out? Just me. He got beat up in jail before he went to jail the first time. Before he went to jail this time and got his teeth fucked up.
Okay, and was he able to do that?
He was able to do that, yes.
All right, what was the second part of the examination?
Copy a cube.
And was Mr. Wilson able to do that?
He drew something, but it wasn't a cube.
Okay, what was it? What did
was-
it look like?
It was a funky square.
Okay.
The best I can describe it.
And I'm going out of order a little bit here, but do you give scores to each one of these?
Well, each counts as a point, and then these points are all added up to a final score.
His dad didn't lie about his teeth. That's like a known thing. Everybody, that's like confirmed across multiple channels. And it makes sense because if you look at his teeth, they weren't like bleeding in that video. You know what I mean? They weren't like, his teeth were just already fucked up when he was talking. That definitely happened when he was in jail the first time, or prison or whatever the fuck.
What was the next test after the cue?
Clock draw.
All right, and describe how that is conducted.
You're supposed to draw a clock with all the numbers on it, which pretty seems straightforward, but it's amazing how some people can't do it.
I'm still having a hard time understanding what he's saying. I don't know if it's just volume or...
I'm trying to turn it up as loud as I can. If you could just project louder.
All right, I'll talk louder. Is that better?
That's better.
All right, so the clock draw is a test where people seems to sound pretty easy, but a lot of people mess it up.
What is a clock draw? Oh my. Okay, all right, bro is actually losing. Like, I bet you Google will tell me better. The clock drawing test assesses constructional praxis. Oh God. Visuoptical. Oh my God. Okay. Yep. Visuoptical ability, executive function, and a verbal. Okay. All right. Maybe it's kind of hard to explain. Maybe it's a little hard to explain. All right. I'll give him that. But he actually sucks ass because this is supposed to be his profession. I've never heard of the clock draw test. Give me a break. But what the fuck, doctor? What, doc? This is what your 90,000 ladies, all Wade Wilson supporters out there. Please, I hope you guys are in the chat. Sweethearts, lovelies, my sweet people. This is what you guys paid for? And I know there's a few of y'all up in here. Show yourselves. Come on. So where's the support at? 70,000, 100,000 for this bullshit. Anyways, LZB, thank you for the 5. Who else did a little dance when you heard the sentencing? Shit, I'm about to hear it for myself, but I already know what happened. Like, I've seen the headlines. But yo, honestly, this doctor, ass.
So how did Mr. Wilson do on that?
Terrible.
The numbers are on there, but there's no 12. He had put 1 in the place of the 12 in the first place, so that throws the numbers off. And then he just put a couple X's in the center. And at this point, I think he got a little frustrated.
All right, so he didn't actually draw
At
hands.
this point, I think he's got a little frustrated. Is that just how he talks? Okay, I thought you guys were bullshitting, but he might be a functioning alcoholic. I'm not lying.
He just put a couple X's in the center. And at this point, I think he got a little frustrated.
At this point, I think he got a little frustrated. The fuck did you just say, good sir?
X's in the center. And at this point, I think he got a little frustrated.
All right, so he didn't actually draw hands to the clock when you told him what time to reflect on the clock.
No hands on the clock, no.
Just 2 X's?
2 X's.
You said Mr. Wilson appeared to be frustrated to you. How did he express himself?
Look at his posture.
I can't
bro.
do this. Part of it was the police were there because, or not police, the officers were there, and he was just getting very paranoid and very anxious that they were watching him.
What up, Shadow?
Was he asked to perform any other tests?
Yes. Actually, I did the rest of the test in the rest of the MOCA in the blocked.
This
exam
guy
room.
just made a cool 15, 20K, or I don't know how much you get paid for this stupid ass shit, but he just made a cool little bit of money and didn't do shit. Ain't that some shit? Like, hire me. Next time there's a Wade Wilson, email HETactical25@gmail.com. Tell me that you need a cognitive assessor, and I'll draw a fucking circle and tell him to write the time 3:30. How about that? How about that? I got you. And pay me the 12,000 or the 15,000. I will go up there. I'll be so alert. I will smoke no weed before going. I will be alert, sharp, with 2 caffeines in me. Shit, the fuck is going on with this guy? It just fucks me up knowing that people work minimum wage jobs, and then you have fuck faces like this who do nothing. Well, all right, I'm being a little harsh. he clearly has had years in the field, or I guess, but I don't know. I just feel like, 400 an hour. Oh, that's okay. That's still insane though. How much you think he racked up just talking to Wade Wilson? Fuck. So he probably made a couple thousand. It's not as much as I was assuming. But anyways, they fucked up. Supporters, you fucked up.
Okay, so the
Y'all fucked
officers
up.
were not present.
Like I could have done a better. I could have done a more convincing job. I really could have. I really could have. Give me a night before court and the internet, and I'll bullshit my way through this better than he is, because that's what he's doing. But I'll do it a lot better.
We'll make him
Hey,
nervous.
shit. Hey, shout out the gifted memberships from. Shout out Lauren for the 5 gifted memberships, man. Nana T, Rachel, Lori. No, not Lori. Carla and Angie. Shout out everybody who got those memberships, man. I appreciate that. The state paid a total of $10,000. Shit. What's up, Starboy? Glows. Hey, but thank you once again for the memberships, Lauren. Appreciate that.
So what other tests did you ask him to perform?
At that point, I went on and did cranial nerves.
What is that?
It's assessing cranial nerves. It's the
What?
nerves that arise out of your.
This guy is sassy. He talks like a bad bitch, you know? It's assessing lucrino nerves. Like, I just said that. The fuck? Are you not listening?
We'll make him nervous.
Okay. So what
Oh,
other
let me back that up.
Room. Just the mocha in the blocked exam room.
Okay.
What,
so the
pretty
officers
crazy?
were not present.
Correct.
They were not able to observe.
We'll make him nervous.
Okay. So what other tests did you ask him to perform?
At that point, I went on and did cranial nerves.
What is that?
It's assessing cranial nerves. It's the
Maybe
nerves
he
that
was
arise
being
out of
sassy.
off your brain.
And how do you test for that?
Well, I don't test for one because it's olfactory. I really don't test for 2 either because that's vision. I'll test for 3, 4, and 6, which is extraocular movements.
And why are you looking for those?
Well, it's part of a neurological examination, but what I found was
What are you saying?
he had some horizontal jerk nystagmus on bilateral gaze.
Okay. What does that mean?
Means when you test his eyes left to right, you'll see a couple of jerks in them, jerks in the eye movements as you go to the left and as you go to the right.
Okay. Is that to be anticipated of anybody who takes this test?
Typically, people have normal movements. They have normal saccades, which is the movement of the eye, and then the jerkiness, as known as nystagmus, which could be from vestibular disease or midbrain disease.
Okay. What did you do next?
I feel like all this is bullshit. I'm just gonna say that. I know there's nerves in the brain and whatever, but the way he's saying, like, look, notice how every time he responds and looks at the guy, he widens his eyes, like, yeah, believe me, bro. Believe me. Like, it's like he's not too sure about it.
Let's see.
Just for the record, did you bring your file with you?
Yes, I did.
And are you referring to your notes occasionally?
I am.
Go ahead.
Cranial nerve 5, which is sensation to his face, which is cranial nerve 5.
What are you saying? Premium 5? Okay, I believe you guys. He's drunk. He's been drinking, because I don't know unless he just has a severe slur and he just doesn't really care about how he says his words like that. Speak properly, bro. I know I have a lisp. I know that I don't say my words the best, but holy shit, take a sip of water. He's fucking me up. Let's go. Visual nerves.
Cranial nerve 5, which is sensation to his face, which is
Cranial nerve 5.
which is sensation to his face.
So it's number 5. That's what he tested. Number 5. Okay, understood.
Career nerve 7, which is facial symmetry when smiling, etc. That was
Understood.
normal. Career nerve 8, check
Career
hearing.
number 8. Okay.
Career nerve 9, check palate. Does uvula go up when you say ah? Midline, that would be intact. Career nerve 10. Can't really check 10 because that's more GI stuff and heart related. Career nerve 11.
Career number 11.
Check.
What is he saying? Okay, I'm not even being rude. What is he saying? Put it in the chat if you guys know what he's saying. Lucrino nerve or crino nerve? I don't know what he's saying, but put it in the chat because I'm actually curious. I think he's saying lucrino nerve, but I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
Shoulder shrug. And career nerve 12 is
Crino
hypoglossal,
nerve.
which is tongue, and make sure his tongue goes out straight.
Well, as a result of these individual tests, did you come to any conclusions?
That he had horizontal bilateral nystagmus. That's a
Oh, he's saying cranial nerve. Guys, I'm not even playing. I had no idea. I'm not even joking. Cranial nerve. Understood. Yeah, he's smashed. I don't care if you have a speech impairment. I think he might be a little smashed. You should have seen him on the Meet Online the day before. He could not hardly answer any question correctly. LOL. What the fuck? I swear you miss one day of the internet and a million things happen. I swear to God. Like, you miss one day of the internet. It's all gone to shit. But let's go.
that's the positive finding in his cranial nerves.
Okay.
And then there's more
Cranial nerves.
All right.
Cranial nerves.
What else did you do?
Cranial nerves.
motor examination.
Oh, you said motor
And how do
properly.
you
I
test
love
for
that.
You physically test the strength of each muscle.
Did you find that to be challenging?
It was challenging because he only had one arm free at one time because he was bound. But I was able to get it done with extra time.
Okay. Did you reach any conclusions as a result of his performance of that?
Too
The motor
much
examination was
Xanax.
normal in terms of strength. His tone was abnormal as he had cogwheeling on his right side.
Had what? I'm sorry.
Cogwheeling. It's a test where you passively move the arm and you feel ratchetiness in his arm. And it's typically a sign of Parkinson's disease, but it's
Oh
also
my
found in
God.
people who are subjected to antipsychotics at some point.
In your research, did you determine that he had consumed antipsychotics?
He had been on many, many medications, and there were some that were antipsychotics, yes.
Okay. So this test basically confirmed that as
He's
it
been-
relates to Mr. Wilson?
He's been treated for mental health disease.
Okay. Did you have him perform any other tests?
The next test I did was deep tendon reflexes.
Okay, and how does he test for that?
I take my reflex hammer and I tap tendons in his arms and legs.
Like a doctor does when you're sitting on the edge
And I bet you he said I bet you he's gonna say, and he didn't kick, and that results to brain damage. Fucking morons.
I'm
able and capture.
I am a doctor.
I understand that. So how did he perform?
Stop interrupting so much. Oh my God. That's how I hear Alexandria when she says that. Stop interrupting. Alexandra, chill, girl. I love you though. But see, now that you typed that into the chat, you made everything stop. So now you have to look at yourself and be like, damn, maybe I should have just not said anything. Maybe the video would have kept playing if I just didn't type that, but we learn things, so maybe you won't do that next time. I love you though, Alexandra.
that?
He had decreased reflexes in his arms. He had 1 out of 5 in the bicep and brachioradialis. 0 at the triceps, and that's bilateral. His patellas were brisk at 3 out of 5, and his ankle jerks were normal
I wouldn't send my
with
dog to this
downgoing
guy.
Babinski.
What is that?
Babinski test is You strike the bottom of the foot, look and see where the toe goes. If it goes up, that means there's upper motor neuron problem.
Okay, and what was the result of his examination?
That was normal.
It was all right. Okay. Did you have him perform?
Yo, what's
any
up,
other tests?
Michelle?
I tested sensation, which was normal. To temperature,
What's Janae? I think that's how you say it. What's up? How you doing?
vibration, and light touch. I had him do coordination with the finger to nose test.
Okay, how did you do on that?
On the right, he did okay, but on the left, he had some what's called pass pointing. He missed the object. I think it was also kind of my opinion at the time. He was a little impulsive.
All right, this guy's kind of pissing me off. Oh God, he has a whole fucking diagram. Lord. Okay. Let's skip to his little diagram.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to speak up loud.
This guy, they told him like 15 times to speak the fuck up. I think he has issues.
Point.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to speak up louder or come back to the microphone.
This is the left lateral ventricle. It's slightly bigger than this ventricle. That's called ventricular asymmetry.
Okay. All right.
Next slide.
Hey, Gerda,
Maybe
thank
we
you
can
for the
move
gifted
microphone
membership.
closer to him.
I appreciate that.
I don't know how far that one comes out.
Is that better? Oh, there it is.
That's better.
Okay. Okay, I don't know if anybody can see this.
Did the doctor get a brain scan? Literally, he needs one. Take him to the nearest hospital and give him a brain scan because there might be larger and smaller sections in your brain that's causing you to fuck up. Like you're like what? And again, this might just be the way he talks, so I don't want to judge too hard, but holy shit, sir. Cranial nerve? That's what got me.
But I measured the ventricles to show that there's a difference. NeuroQuant is very helpful at showing us asymmetry because it measures this stuff, but we had no NeuroQuant, so I measured it myself. On the right side, which is your left, here, that's 3.55 millimeters. On the right side, that's 5.6 millimeters. So that's quite a difference in the ventricle
up,
size
Vivian?
from one side to the other. Next slide. And here you can visually
I
see
had a
it.
crush on a girl named Vivian. Ha! What's up? Welcome in.
Where the left or the right side is bigger than the left side. But also I'm going to point your
Hey, thank you for the
attention
2
to
months, Tabitha.
all the space here.
I'm glad to catch you live. I hope everyone's enjoying their day. Also, this expert witness is a mess. I would say this expert witness is ass, but, you know, that's just my terminology of saying shit.
In my opinion, his ventricles are very small for his age.
What is the purpose of the ventricle?
The ventricles are the space inside the brain where cerebrospinal fluid is. The size indicates if there's too much water in the brain or too much brain in the brain.
What?
His ventricles are too small, which tells me that he likely has a pretty good-sized brain.
Wait, what? Wait. Did I just have a stroke?
Of the ventricle.
The ventricles are the space inside the brain where cerebrospinal fluid is. The size indicates if there's too much water in the brain or too much brain in the brain.
Too much brain in the brain. Too much brain in the brain? Test? What the fuck? Hold on. Test my brain. No, there's no hits for that. There's no hits for that. This man, I think something's wrong here, guys. I think this is going off the rails.
His ventricles are too small, which tells me that he likely has a pretty good-sized brain.
Oh
Which
God.
is why any amount of atrophy in it is significant.
Okay. I interrupted you. I'm sorry, doctor. You're pointing out to the spacing.
So the space.
His brain literally had a cramp just now. Did you see the cramp in his fucking brain? Check it out. It just cramped up. It actually just hurt.
The size indicates
Cramp.
if there's too much water in the brain or too much brain in the brain.
Oh shit! I took it too
His
far.
ventricles are
Wait
too
for
small, which
it.
tells me that he likely has a pretty good-sized brain.
Cramp. There it is. He just cramped. See, you see the eye twitch? Look, he just cramped up. His whole brain went into a fucking knot. Look at his
Has
eye.
a pretty good-sized brain.
Twitching. Twitching. God
Which
damn.
is why
God
any
damn.
amount of atrophy in it is significant.
Okay. I interrupted you. I'm sorry, doctor. You're pointing out to the spacing.
So the space, you're looking at space all around his brain.
His eye was twitching, guys.
Space in between, and then up in front, you see the space.
I don't see shit, brother.
So the space in front of his brain, so that indicates some frontal lobe atrophy. Not a lot of atrophy. He's got some frontal lobe atrophy. Next slide. Back to the ventricle. This is another location just to show that I'm not just cherry picking. His right, which is on your left, is 8.03 millimeters. On the left, which is your right, is 9.48 millimeters. Note this is all less than a centimeter.
And?
And again,
Okay.
here's left
Sir,
frontal.
you need to talk to me like I'm stupid. I don't know what the fuck you're saying. He looked at him like that was some big breakthrough. Hold on. I'm sorry I keep rewinding, but this shit be blowing me. I'm so glad I decided to do this. You said he was boring. Boring? This guy is literally falling apart from the inside out. Yo, Mountain Mama. I love the name. Insane in the membrane. Hey, Hey, I like your taste in music. Too much brain in the brain. Shit. Cypress Hill should have threw that shit on one of their fucking songs. Too much brain in the brain. I don't know. They could have figured something out with that. That one's crazy. Beautiful taste in music. I appreciate you, Mountain Mama.
His right, which is on your left, is 8.03 millimeters. On the left, which is your right, is 9.48 millimeters.
And then he just looks at everybody like this is some big thing that we understand.
Note this is all less than a centimeter.
Look, he looks at him like, yeah, that's big. That's big. Oh my fucking God.
And again, here's left frontal. I'm going to get back to that. Left frontal.
Oh my God.
Ready?
Yep. All right, now we're going to start talking about atrophy.
Okay. Please make something make sense.
What is atrophy?
Yes.
Atrophy
What
is
is
where the
atrophy?
brain shrinks
He's
and
just gonna
pulls-
fucking start. I'm done getting mad. I'm done. I'm gonna be calm. But first, now we're gonna go on to atrophy. Me, the moron in the group, what the fuck is atrophy, bro? And he just starts talking. Bro, come on, bro.
Away from the skull and creates more spinal fluid on the other side of it. His brain has really no atrophy other than in certain locations. And where
What
you
is
see it is
wait, what is
right in
atrophy?
a certain location. Shrinks and pulls away from.
What is atrophy?
Atrophy is where the brain shrinks and pulls away from the skull and creates more spinal fluid on the other side of it.
Okay. So that's bad.
His brain has really no atrophy other than in certain locations. And where you see it is right in here and right in here. This area is where the amygdala is and the hippocampus is.
Okay.
The amygdala is part of the
Decision
limbic
making?
system,
No.
and hippocampus is part of your memory centers.
Okay, I'm wrong. I'm stupid.
His memory on the MoCA was, he had 1 out of 5 on recall.
Okay.
So atrophy here, And then we start seeing the anterior frontal lobe. You don't even see brain here yet. You just see spinal fluid. Next slide. Next slide. You see the space here, space in between, and the space between here is more than space over here. And that's your orbital frontal cortex, part of your frontal lobe. Some atrophy, not a ton of atrophy, some atrophy.
He's making shit up.
Okay, this is a color picture. This is our DTI. Let me get over here so you can see better.
Okay.
What?
You can
Your
move the
microphone,
microphone,
sir? Oh, he's in shambles. Okay, I have two leading theories about this guy. Either he is massively nervous, like I'm talking nervous to where he's trembling, or he's fucked up. One of the two. It might be the pills, it might be the alcohol, but bro is not functioning too well. So it's two of those things. He could just be super nervous, but he said, 72 times he's gone on stand, so I don't know.
So we're looking at here is
Doctor, let me interrupt you a second. You're using some initials here. What is DTI?
DTI is diffusion tensor imaging,
What's it designed to show?
axonal interruption. Theoretically from traumatic brain injury, however, white matter lesions from like strokes can cause that to be abnormal as well. But I can tell you that he has no white matter lesions on his brain.
I interrupted you. What's depicted on this particular slide?
That the green indicating a flow of axons is greater on one side than the other. There's a paucity of it on this side. Next picture is even a little bit better. Here we go, green and blue. Really got nothing over here other than a little yellow.
Look at
So
him.
this tells us that he has some frontal lobe damage.
Like
So this,
he tried to say just now, this tells us that he has frontal lobe damage, right? This tells us that he has frontal lobe damage. But watch how he says it.
so this tells us that he has some frontal lobe damage.
It tells us that way. Listen, I'm an experienced drinker. Okay, I know how to drink. This is me when I've been drinking kind of consistently all day. I'm not fucked. I can drive. Don't drink and drive. But if I had to, I can drive. I could walk around. I could have a conversation. But I'm gonna be less. I'm gonna be less like cognitive of the slurry shit I'm saying. That's what it sounds like to me. Like he just been sipping it all day, just sipping it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I'm a little fucked up. Now it's just brain scan. Listen to how he says it.
Got nothing over here other than a little yellow.
Watch how he starts it.
So this tells us that he has some frontal lobe
So this tells us that he has some frontal.
damage. I think that's it.
Lord have mercy. Jesus help this man. Cheers, big dog. Cheers, bro. If I have my Don Julio's empty, I need to get another bottle, but I've been slowing down drinking actually, so. But this would be a day to have a fucking drink. I ain't gonna lie to you. This would definitely be the day to have a drink.
If we put all that information together, what kind of conclusions did you come to as regarding Mr. Wilson's his brain injuries?
There are two basic conclusions.
He might
One,
have a
with
list,
the
though.
ventricular asymmetry. Ventricular asymmetry can be a normal finding, but in the setting of psychiatric disease, it indicates cognitive and emotional dysfunction.
Okay. How does that manifest itself in somebody's conduct?
It's going to cause more behavior. It's going to cause less thinking. It's going to cause less or less likely to modify
Yeah,
your own behavior.
Sterling Nash said frontal lobe damage, all in one fucking word. That's some slurry speech right there. They need to get his man. Listen, the Wade Wilson supporters wasted their time and wasted those poor, stupid women's money who donated. They could have at least used it for their damn children. Whoever donated that $10,000, guess what? Might as well flush it down the fucking toilet. That you should have did that better. Maybe the homeless people would have found it or something. That would have been better than what you did. Literally burning money on this guy, burning it.
What was the other one? You said there were two.
Evidence of some brain injury. The atrophy of his superior anterior temporal lobes as well as his frontal lobes is a important combination. When you have atrophy of your
The money was for his
amygdala,
appeal.
which is one of your main points of your limbic system, it creates for emotional instability.
Okay. Emotional instability? I thought it was instability. Define instability. There's no such thing as instability. Get this guy the fuck off of the stand. Get this guy the fuck off, bro. Please.
When you have atrophy of your amygdala, which is one of your main points of your limbic system, it creates for emotional instability.
Yep. That's a word for sure.
It makes you more likely to get mad and not be able to calm yourself down. The frontal lobe impairments cause one to be more likely to be impulsive and act without regard to consequence.
Yeah, 10,000
Act
for him. That's
without-
what I heard.
Plan. More likely to be irritated and
This guy
agitated.
is vocabulistic. I haven't heard that word in a minute. Shout out Baby Girl and Paul Ferguson for giving us that fucking word. Vocabulistic. What's up, Brenda?
And the frontal lobe is also important for stopping
Hey, to
behavior.
you guys out there in Florida, guys, I'm sorry. If your taxes went up a little bit, ever so slightly, it was probably because of this case, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, because that was a little waste of your money right there. Ain't that a bitch?
Arising out of your temporal lobe.
Is it
He's still saying instability? I didn't even hear it.
is it practical to assume that these injuries to the brain occurred contemporaneous with the traffic accidents?
The location of at least the atrophy is typical
Of the what? I'm sorry?
of the atrophy, the shrinkage,
Okay.
where it pulls
Oh
away.
my God. The judge is trying to tell you, sir. The judge is trying to be nice. Get your shit together for the next 30 minutes. Like, fuck. You can't hold it together for 30 minutes? Go outside and take a swig of the drink and come back if that's what's going to help you. Like, fuck.
The location of at least the atrophy is typical
Of the what? I'm sorry?
of the atrophy, the shrinkage,
Okay.
where it pulls away from the skull, is typical of trauma to the brain. That's where the skull is the
Like, go
hardest.
outside and take
that's
a
where
drink.
it beats up on
Fuck.
the brain the most.
So if Mr. Wilson has been in custody since the date of his arrest, which was 2 days after the incident, presumably he had this same brain injury back in 19...
Low-key, I have to post this, and the title would be like, Defense brings moron to the stand to defend Wade Wilson. That would be the fucking title. Because what?
2019.
Yes, but atrophy takes time to develop. It didn't just occur in the last year. It's probably been occurring over the last several years.
Okay. Is there anything that can be done to repair or replace?
No, but medication can be helpful at modifying his behavior, mostly from psychiatric disease, because this isn't somebody with this injury on top of bipolar disorder, major depression, schizoaffective disorder, whatever it may be. It's going to make it worse. So if you at least treat the psychiatric disease,
The what? The what?
and basically a simple answer is that
Brenda said, I see why he works independently. Yeah, I mean, that could be an indication. One or the other. You're really good at what you do and you make more money independently, or you're too fucking incompetent and you've been fired from everywhere you've been. You have a really bad rep, and now all you get is clowns like Wade Wilson as a client. You know, there's two outcomes to that, and I hope it's the first, but sadly, it's starting to look like it's the latter. It's the second outcome. He sucks in his field, and he's the laughing stock. Allegedly. That's my assumption. That's just an assumption from some dude who don't know nothing, so don't take that to heart. But, yo, what's up, the Razai? I appreciate you for that $2, man. You ever try to wing a presentation in school? Yeah. Exactly. I almost said that, and then I forgot about that comment. Razai brought that shit right the fuck back. Yep. Winging a presentation. You know, you ever wing a presentation and it goes good? Okay, and that feels amazing, right? But you ever try to wing a presentation that goes horrendously bad? This is what we're watching. This is what we're watching. Bro could have simply stayed up all night and read his notes, and he would have done better. This is definitely a guy who just woke up this morning, took a few swigs of the drink, popped whatever pills he's on, and came to work. Come on, sir.
this can be treated.
Okay. So the
Come on, sir.
problem that you have described as a result of the brain trauma is separate and distinct from the psychiatric diseases that he has.
Yes. Most psychiatric diseases don't have a MRI finding say, hey, you have this disease. Schizophrenia, they're starting to see some findings of some commonalities between MRIs and PET findings, but nothing's been established as this is it.
Okay. So this is basically in addition to anything that a psychiatrist or the neuropsychologist may have testified to.
Yes.
May I have a moment?
You may.
Shit, I need a moment. Let me get my Gatorade. My Gatorade. All right, so they're telling them right now, yo, you're fucking up. Please bring that shit together, pull it together, and then back to business. I swear to God, they went over there and they're like, hey, you're kind of slurring your words. Please pull it the fuck together. Say things clearly, okay? You made about $12,000 more or less doing this. Get it the fuck together. Like,
I do not, thank you. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
Now, you indicated you...
all right, cross-examination time, baby. We're ready. We are prepared. Cross-examination time, y'all.
You had an
I
opportunity...
fucking hate... Okay, give me 1 minute. They're doing road work outside my house again. Give me a minute. What the fuck? I swear to God, bro. Every time I'm recording, every time I'm going live, they just know. They're just aware. And they're like, hey, that guy is recording. Fuck him. Let's make the most noise we can possibly make. But anyways, it is a cool ass day. It's actually 67 degrees, so I'm closing all windows. It feels amazing. Let's get into this cross-examination, you beautiful people. You beautiful people.
to sit down and meet with Mr. Wilson, and you conducted a series of tests. Is that right?
That's correct.
That's correct.
What internal validity measures were in these particular tests?
The MOCA did not have any internal validity measures. However, I find it difficult to believe that someone would fail
No, seriously,
two parts of it and
Capricorn.
do excellent on everything else. But the parts that he failed in were the things that the MRI supports that he'd have impairments with.
Okay. Well, I'm asking you specifically about the screen nerves tests, the motor exam tests, the muscle tone, the sensation, which is your deep 10 reflexes, and your assessed Romberg tests.
What about those?
Are there any internal validity measures in those particular tests?
Okay, this is the last time I'm gonna define something. Internal validity measures. What is that? Do you guys know that? Is that just means like it's been like, anyways. Internal validity is the degree of confidence that the causal relationship you are testing, the causal relationship that you are testing is not influenced by other factors or variables. So basically, one thing could mean many other things. So internal validity, a degree of confidence that the causal relationship you are testing is not. So internal validity just will prove, if there's internal validity to what he's saying, that means that reaction is only from that like symptom, or I think that's what he's saying. So let's move forward. I think I explained it kind of fucked up, but you guys see the definition. Internal validity is extremely important. It shows the test actually means something, and it doesn't mean like a whole bunch of other things, right? Okay. And I guess there's like known internal validity already. So we can say like that test has no internal validity and it's been proven by such and such and such study, whatever. Okay. All right.
Well, reflexes, I like to see someone fake it because that's not something you can really do. I mean, I've been in this for over 20 years. I've seen people try, but you can't fake it. Motor examination, you can also see that too. There's actually built-in validity testers when you test for leg weakness, but he exhibited no weakness, so I had no reason to believe it was invalid. Tone, he doesn't know what I'm checking for. How's he going to fake it?
Hey, what's up, Spiritual Mind 66? Thank you for the €5. Hi from Germany to you and the chat. I appreciate you, man. Shout her out for the love. Shout her out. I appreciate that, Spiritual. Hell yeah. Appreciate that.
Well, my question to you is you conducted these as forensic exams, did you not?
I did.
And forensic exam means that it's an examination by a medical professional for the use in a criminal prosecution. Isn't that right, sir?
Yes.
Okay, and because of this is a forensic examination, you would agree with me that Mr. Wilson has an interest in the outcome of the evaluation, does he not?
He does.
Okay, so continuing on, you conducted these screen nerves, the motor exams, the muscle tone, the sensation, the assessed Romberg tests, sticking someone's tongue out, making sure that their face is symmetrical, making sure that he can smile, whether or not he can shrug his shoulders. Those are all things that you took into consideration, and that is based upon Mr. Wilson's cooperation with you, is it not?
Yeah, those other things were normal too.
All right. Now, when we get to the MOCA examination that you had previously discussed, that's the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test, correct?
Yes.
All right. And when we were discussing the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test, you'd agree with me, sir, that that particular test is specifically a screening device. Isn't that right?
It is a screening device, yes.
All right. And that screening device was something that you had gone ahead and utilized in this particular case.
Hey, thank you, Drea. FYI, Thornton Township meeting tonight, 5:30 Central Time. Hey. Man, shout you out, Andrea. I know there's cooking with Tiff today, too, so we have a few things, folks. We got a few things.
Is that right?
It is.
Okay. And are you certified in utilizing that particular test or assessment?
I am not.
Okay. Why not, sir?
Because when I signed up for that doctor who runs its program, I couldn't get into the system when I paid my bills. Like a week later, I got my access, and I haven't done my access yet. But it's a racket.
I'm sorry, did you say it's a racket?
It's a racket.
All right. Well, isn't it in fact true, sir, that the people who went ahead and developed the MOCA assessment, sir, they actually encourage that successful completion of the official training and certification is mandatory for anyone administering paper based on MOCA tests?
This guy is not even, he's not even certified, bro. Oh no. Oh no. Bro, the more it's just a waste of money. It's crazy how like I never understood. It's like somebody could waste $1 million today and then somebody else needs like $100. And it's just so fucked. Like they wasted so much money on this fucking moron. If this guy was competent, I would have still thought it was kind of stupid that they did the brain thing, but at least he did his job. What the fuck? That's all I'm saying. Like literally, it's never gonna happen. Oh, a poor family could have used that 10,000. It's never gonna fucking happen. But I'm just saying, it's kind of like, damn, this guy really made money for doing absolutely fucking nothing. Ain't that some shit?
I'm sorry, did you say it's a racket?
It's a racket.
All right. Well, isn't it in fact true, sir, that the people who went ahead and developed the MOCA assessment, sir, they actually encourage that successful completion of the official training and certification is mandatory for anyone administering paper based on MOCA tests?
Let me get my...
This guy's a dumbass.
I paid something like $200 for this thing.
There's a such thing as educated dumbasses, by the way. It's very real. It's a very real thing. Educated fucking moron. He just impeached himself as an expert witness. I mean,
It's
it was
run by the founder.
He said it was a racket. It was a racket, so he didn't finish his certification. Okay.
But it is accepted, so certification thing is relatively new.
Oh yeah, Carol. You said blue hearts are creeping in the chat. No, Carol Argan has been in the AG Tactical chat for months, and she always does blue hearts. It's just unfortunate that it's representing something right now. Hey, Crystal, thank you for the $5, man. Shout her out. This man is a quack. He absolutely had no idea what he was telling the people. The judge got aggravated really fast. I mean, I feel the judge irritation every time he says two things. The judge is like, "Sir, remember to project your voice." Like, fuck, how many times can we say that? Shit. This dude in a fog, man, he's smoking better stuff than I do. For real, backyard. His brain is fogged the fuck out. Fogged. You know when you try to focus when you're high as shit? It's like you don't even feel that high. But the second you have to focus on something, it's like, oh shit, I'm too high for this. That's what he's experiencing right now.
But you've not been certified, is that right?
No, but I'm working on it.
All right. Well, as far as the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test, you also acknowledge the fact that there was no internal validity measure as it relates to that particular test. Is that right, sir?
Yes or no, bitch?
No, but it needs to be interpreted in the setting
No,
of
shut the fuck up. Moving on. Thank you.
everything. And given where I see atrophy, it seems like it would be a valid indicator of his performance. His memory's terrible. He has atrophy in his anterior temporal area. His executive function is impaired. He's got frontal lobe atrophy. So it makes sense to me.
Okay. Well, you'd also agree with me, sir, that the internal validity measure is to determine whether or not someone is giving a good effort. And you have no determination as to whether or not Mr. Wilson was giving a good effort when you conducted the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test, correct?
Correct.
That crossed my mind as well. Wade could just act stupid for the whole test and get flying colors, like just a flying failing grade, just because he doesn't want to get sentenced to death. So it makes sense. Like, come on.
Other than his performance on the rest of it was excellent. He did serial sevens without any difficulty. He remembered word and had word counting, or he was able to tell me 12 words in 1 minute that started with F without difficulty.
Listen, Kathy,
That's
I could
usually
come
somebody-
into this room blasted off 2 blunts and still do a better job than him. Blasted. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the fuck is wrong with him. I could come in there still smelling stinky, and I could do a better job than him. Something is...
But if they're going to fake it, they're going to fake it there.
Okay, well, isn't it in fact true, sir, that Mr. Wilson has some issues as it related to the memory function portion of the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test?
Say that one more time?
Isn't it in fact true that
You're
Mr.
on
Wilson
Xanax
had
or something,
some
maybe.
memory issues as it relates to the testing of them by and through the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test?
Yes, on delayed recall, he had 1 out of 5.
Now, how do you know whether or not Mr. Wilson actually remembered more without any internal validity checks, sir?
I don't know that.
So would you agree with me, sir, that the...
Why is his posture? You see me? Look at my camera. Why is he sitting like that? Hold on, let me. He's like. That's not how you really sit, bro. Why are you poking your chest out? Be like, why are you show appear nice at least? He's over here like, yeah, bitch, free Wade Wilson. Like, what the fuck, dude? Nobody's gonna.
Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test is not as good a measure of whether or not Mr. Wilson has a good cognitive development than those that were conducted by Dr. Eisenstein.
Well, Eisenstein did a 6-hour battery of testing, which is going to be superior to a MOCA test.
Okay. And are you familiar with the neurological assessment that Dr. Eisenstein conducted upon Mr. Wilson?
Dr. Eisenstein did a neuropsychological assessment, and all I had was a raw testing and no report.
Okay.
So no.
Were you aware of Mr. or Dr. Eisenstein's testimony in this particular case?
I was not.
Are you familiar with the fact that when Mr. Wilson conducted or underwent a full neuropsychological...
Okay, maybe everybody's just fucking up on the word shit. You know what? Maybe it's just a hard day for neurological. Maybe it's just a tough day for the word neurological because everybody's fucking it up at this point.
I was not.
Are you familiar with the fact that when Mr. Wilson conducted or underwent a full neuropsychological evaluation with Dr. Eisenstein, that his executive function in 6 of the 8 tests was normal?
Does 6 out of 8 suggest anything?
Hey,
That
thank
any
you,
impairment? Is
Rosiah.
that absolutely normal?
Isn't Eisensteinen? Oh God, isn't his name the Dr. Sarah once also? I'm not sure. I am not sure. I would hope not. I would hope not.
I don't know.
I would hope she doesn't.
He had executive functioning in 6 of the 8 tests, and the last 2 tests he didn't finish. And that's the only reason why they were scored in the way in which they were.
And why didn't he finish?
Because he was tired. 6 hours, Judge.
No, he gets impulsive and frustrated.
So what specific tests revealed that Mr. Wilson was impaired in the executive functioning and delayed memory when you conducted your tests, sir?
It was a much shorter part. It was trails, cupping a square, and drawing a clock. That was executive function.
So are you familiar with the Dallas Kaplan phonetic verbal fluency test, sir?
That's the counting the words, or did the word come up with words?
Yes.
Like what the...
Did they just
was
laugh
done
at him?
on the MOCA?
He doesn't even know. This is like, go back
They
to
were
college,
totally
sir. Go back to college. He's asking him.
That was executive function.
So are you familiar with the Dallas Kaplan phonetic verbal fluency test, sir?
That's the counting the words, or did the word come up with words?
The lawyer laughed at him. That's counting the words, and all you hear in the background is laughed at him, bro. Man, I would go home and cry. Honestly, I would go home and just cry real quick. It's cool. But then at the same time, you can't really cry that hard because it's your fault for making yourself a moron on national television and on the internet and everywhere.
Yes.
Like what that was done on the MOCA?
No, they were done
Verbal
by
fluency.
That were done by Dr. Eisenstein.
Verbal fluency is a neuropsychological test. I don't do neuropsychological tests. I'm a neurologist. I'm limited to something like a MOCA.
But you've heard of the Dallas Kaplan executive function system,
I
is
have.
that right, sir? Okay. And wouldn't you agree with me, sir, that that's more of a comprehensive measure of executive function than the MOCA?
Word finding is going to be left frontal, posterior Broca, and not necessarily indicative of executive function. It's more indicative of language.
He got some fent weed. That's what he got. That's why
Let
he's
me
fucked
ask you
up.
this. Did you see any of the neuropsychological testing that Mr. Wilson underwent that was performed by Dr. Eisenstein?
Let me see test pages.
$400 an hour. That's a disgrace. I don't know why that gets me so much.
I had some morale at work
That really gets me.
and didn't make heads or tails of it.
$400 an hour.
Oh, hang on. This is what I can do. Composite score summary on the Ways 4.
Wait,
comp-
wait. In training day, was that laced weed? Somebody pulled a training day on his weed. Wait. I thought that was just bad CGI. Wait. Okay, this is completely off the subject. But for those who know, when he passed them the weed and he smoked it in training day and he started seeing green and everything started fucking with his vision, did he give him laced weed? I need to watch that movie again. When Denzel Washington passes him the blunt. No. It was a pipe. And he was like, hit that shit. You got to know what it's like to be on it. And then he started tweaking out. Was that laced? Anyways, you guys respond to that in the comments. I feel like, damn, I didn't notice that. I thought it was just regular weed. But anyways, yeah, this guy definitely got some laced weed for sure. I never knew he Damn, that's why he was tweaking out? I just thought he never smoked before. Anyways, great movie. Go watch it. Great movie. Awesome movie.
Comprehension, average, verbal.
He's not a real doctor. He's a psychologist. Okay, it was laced weed. He even told him. Damn, I need to go watch that movie again. I thought it was just because the THC was in his system, so he blackmailed him. So when he got tested at the place, they would find THC in his system. But I didn't know he had put some shit in there.
Reasoning, borderline, working memory, average, processing speed, average, full scale, average, general ability, low average.
He for sure got that training day weed.
So wouldn't you agree with me, sir, that the neuropsychological testing that Mr. Wilson underwent by Dr. Eisenstein would be of help in addressing your opinion with regards to executive function?
Members only movie night.
One
I wish
limitation-
I could stream. I wish I could stream Training Day, but they're gonna pull that shit off the internet so fucking fast. I wish. I love Denzel Washington in Training Day though. The bad guy, shit. Yeah, that does it. Love him in that movie.
Of neuropsychological testing is that it doesn't properly estimate premorbid function. If you look at Mr. Wilson's grades back in grade school, he had A's, mostly A's, B's, and C's. What happened? The point is, you can have a significant decline as a high functioning individual and do well on neuropsych testing. That's limitation neuropsych testing. It's one of the limitations I have with people coming in, I evaluate for dementia. If they were doctors or
He
scientists,
said sometimes people come in that I evaluate for dementia. Watch how he says it. That's what he said, right?
have a significant decline as a high functioning individual and do well on neuropsych testing. That's limitation neuropsych testing. It's one of the limitations I have with people coming in, I evaluate for dementia. If they were
Bro, get this guy the fuck off of this stand, bro. I hate that these words are highlighted. Okay, here we go.
doctors or scientists, they sent to neuropsychologists, they come across as normal, but they lost 30-40% of their cognition already. They're dementing, but neuropsych testing was normal. So neuropsych testing has to be taken with a grain of salt.
He sounds exactly like Anthony Tote. That is so real. He kind of looks like Anthony Tote, too. Watch this. Oh, please don't be bad images. Okay, thank God. This is a more slim Anthony Tote. And they talk the same way, bro. That's crazy. Are they related to each other? Who fucking look at that? Oh my god. This is like his big brother. This is like his big brother. They have the same pudgy cheeks on the side. You see the little pudgy cheeks right there? Pudgy cheeks. You're not hiding behind that beard, sir. You're not hiding behind that beard. We see you. What's your last name? I'm playing. I'm playing.
So you're telling me, or you're telling us, that no, the neuropsychological testing that Mr. Wilson underwent with Dr. Einstein was not helpful to you. Is that what you're telling us here today?
Well, as I did not have it, it was not helpful.
Okay, fair enough. So you'd also agree with me that there's actually no evidence of executive function brain damage in the life functioning or the events surrounding these particular murders back in October of 2019. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say there's no evidence. And the crime itself, I think, indicates that he has some type of impairment.
Really? And what might that be?
To strangle a woman? Did he plan to do it? Or was it an impulsive action and an overreaction?
Well, we're going to get to that in a minute. I want to talk to you a little bit about the head trauma. You indicated that you had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Wilson as it relates to the head trauma that he sustained growing up. Is that right? And you based your decision on, or your determination on, the couple accidents that he...
I took all those with a grain of salt and added to his physical exam findings.
Okay.
The abnormal reflexes he had suggested that he had some type of pathology, either in his neck or his brain. But people who have neck injuries frequently have brain injury, or vice versa. They have brain injury, they have neck injury too. So I don't know if his hyperreflexivity was from his brain or his neck. But I'm here.
Blood is just using words at this point. Let me see how long this shit is. Yeah, let's let it ride for a little bit longer.
To evaluate for traumatic, evidence of traumatic brain injury.
Now he's starting to get annoying. He's getting boring at this point. We know how he is. We pretty much got his side of the story. Now they're just gonna fucking tear this guy apart slowly but surely. Defense, prosecutors talked to him for another 20 minutes. I'm sure this is all tearing him down. But let's see a little bit more.
All right. Well, Mr.
Talk
Wilson,
soup. Yes.
when he's talking
Word salad.
to you
Talk soup.
about these car accidents.
A word
he never
burger.
gave you any dates, times, specific locations as to when these occurred. Isn't that fair?
Location was Tallahassee area, but in times, no.
So you don't even know when that occurred, right?
I did not know.
You don't even know if that occurred. Is that fair?
As I have no medical records, as he didn't go to the doctor, I don't know.
Correct. So you're relying solely upon what Mr. Wilson is telling you. Isn't that correct?
I'm taking it with a grain of salt. If his neuroexam was completely normal, I would have a hard time believing it. But it wasn't normal, so I had to believe him.
Okay. Well, you also indicated that you had reviewed something involving his sister, Dr. Wendy, who happens to be a radiologist. Were you aware of that?
I knew she was a doctor, but I didn't know she was a radiologist.
Would it surprise you, sir, that when Mr. Wilson actually had an accident, that he went to the hospital, that he had CT scans that were done?
Oh, that might surprise him. That might indeed surprise me, good sir. Now, I bet they're going to say all those CT scans were normal as fuck. So what are you saying, sir? Explain to us why you're lying to the court right now. Something in that direction.
In 23, or when?
When he had his accident, sir.
I didn't know that. I didn't have a CAT scan.
Well, would it surprise you to learn that his sister also had gone and reviewed those particular CAT scans and found them to be normal?
Y'all hit the dang like. The man is cooking. I appreciate you, Smoke. Everybody hit the like button, man. Everybody smash it up. I appreciate that. Get us up to an easy 200 likes. We got 420 people in this thing. Hell yeah. All right, let's continue.
A CAT scan being normal simply means that there's no evidence of acute trauma. There's no evidence of
Thank you, Kathy, for the €2. I'm getting brain drained just listening to him. Yeah, he probably would. He probably will make you kind of lose brain cells listening to him. Honestly, he'll probably rub off on you.
blood. There's no evidence of subarachnoid hemorrhage, epidural hemorrhage, intraparenchymal hemorrhage, or anything that a surgeon has to deal with.
So when Mr. Wilson was telling you about all these various injuries that he sustained to his head, did you do any follow-up to corroborate any of the information that he had provided to you?
As I was aware that there were no medical records, I did not look for no medical records.
Thank you, Jim, for the 5 gifted. We got up to 200 likes so fast. Shout you guys out for liking the video. Shout out Jim for the gifted memberships, man. And to all those people who got it, man. Amanda, Phoenix Flame getting that back. Alex Rose, Smoke, Robin. Shout y'all out for the membership. Shout out to Jim for the love, man. I appreciate that. Hell yeah, I appreciate you, Jim.
Oh. Did you bother to ask him for any further specific details as it relate to the accident?
Hey, thank you, Lynette, for the 5.
Whether it be on the beach or in the Tallahassee area?
Thank
I
you
did
for,
not because there were no medical records.
Thank you for all you do, Heart Face. I appreciate that, Lynette. It's for real, showing love out here, man. I appreciate that. I'm about to skip past this fool right now. I want to get to sentencing, but let's see if there's anything better.
And there's really no point in getting more details about it. There's no medical records.
You also told us he had a couple sports injuries whereby somehow he had gone ahead and bumped his head and lost consciousness, once during a football game and once during a baseball, but he didn't tell you when those occurred. Isn't that correct?
He did not know. I assumed during high school.
You're assuming a lot of things in this particular case, are you not, Doctor?
They're eating them up, bro. They're eating them up. They're tearing them up, bro.
Now, Doctor, you indicated that you had an opportunity to review a series of scans in this particular case. One happened in April of 2023, and the other happened where you had an opportunity to review an MRI scan of August of 2024. Is that correct?
This is correct.
All right. And you also had the opportunity to review the records that were contained as it related to those scans in April of 2023. Isn't that correct?
I looked at my records. I do not have that scan. I do not have it. So, but I'm told it's normal.
Okay. Matter of fact, the impression was there was no acute intracranial abnormality.
Again, it was a CAT scan, which looks for acute blood. That's what CAT scans are for in trauma. Looking for blood, looking for epidural hematoma.
What? What? Who? What? What? All right. Wow. And he's married and shit. Well, who's the lucky lady?
Which looks for acute blood. That's what CAT scans are for in trauma. Looking for blood, looking for epidural hematoma. Subarachnoid hemorrhage. Intraparenchymal hemorrhage. Any kind of blood anywhere.
Well, you'd agree with me, sir, that a non-contrast head CT remains the imaging of choice for patients that are presenting with an acute TBI. Isn't that correct? Or traumatic brain injury?
Yes, because that's the test that determines if we have to do anything at that point in time. Okay. It's not meant to be the total evaluator.
Okay. But in this particular case, in that particular time, there was no acute.
Should the Wade get those sandals from the kiosk? Thank you, Jim. Listen, he 100% did. What do you mean? Somebody bought that shit for him. You think he could afford those slippers? Listen, this man is taken care of by his army of weirdos, and they'll make sure he lives really good. Even if they don't live good, they're living terrible out here. Because I know your life has to be terrible to be contacting this guy. I know it has to be terrible. You cannot be living a good life and contact this guy. It makes zero sense. So You know what I'm saying? They're struggling in their own fucking lives, and they're making sure Wade has his little slippers. Ain't that sweet? His army of fucking psychos. Shoo. Hold on. Did the comments turn back on? Because sometimes I think they turned the comments off. Because earlier today I could see the comments. Now all the comments are gone. Ha!
Intracranial abnormality that was found in the CT scan, correct?
Correct.
And that was done by a radiologist.
It was done by a radiologist and technologist, but read by a radiologist. The CAT scan being normal does not say he did not have a concussion. If I had to count the number of people who had concussions in normal CAT scans that I've seen, you wouldn't have enough things to count with.
Well, doctor, you would agree with me that radiologists are trained to read and interpret medical images, correct?
They are.
Okay. And it's their specialty to diagnose and treat conditions using imaging equipment, right?
Yes.
Matter of fact, they perform all the radiology modalities, which include x-rays, ultrasounds, nuclear medicine, MRIs, CT scans, PET scans, and the such, correct?
Yes.
They all have, and you'd agree with me, all those modalities have different properties and they produce different images in different anatomic planes, correct?
That sounds reasonable.
Okay. And you'd also agree with me that radiologists also review thousands of images in a typical week.
Depends on the radiologist.
Okay. And you'd also agree with me that they know how to combine findings of multiple different studies to render a diagnosis, right?
Most do, yes.
Okay. And in this particular case, sir, isn't it in fact true that when you had respectfully requested that Mr. Wilson undergo radiological assessment, that one of your requests was that you did not want the radiologist to interpret any study unless mandated by the institution? Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And why?
They turned them off because it was a bunch of crazy Wade wives. A bunch of Wade's crazy wives. Man, that's sad. That's sad.
Why is that, sir?
Because radiologists make mistakes, and a mistake such as reading something normal when it's not normal is very hard to undo.
Matter of fact, isn't it in fact true, sir, that you look at it for, I'll make sure I get the language correct.
Oh, nice back of the head, bro. Full head of hair. Very, very solid.
Radiologist does not look at it from a criminal perspective. Isn't that correct?
Yes, for example, the ventricular symmetry. Ventricular symmetry is a normal finding, but in the setting of psychiatric disease, it means something else. The doctor reading it had the information that he had a psychiatric disease. And that's just an example.
No, this
So a
is an
radiologist
example.
would be looking at it from
This
an
is an
objective
example.
point of view, and when he found that there was no intracranial abnormality, he would be wrong?
The ventricles are symmetrical. If they said they're normal ventricles, that's wrong. They were asymmetrical.
Okay.
So that would be a misdiagnosis by the radiologist.
Oh.
Well,
Oh.
let's talk about that.
Okay.
You had some MRI scans that you had the opportunity to review that were taken on August 21st.
Bro got the comfy slides on. Watch the little overstep right there. Overstep on them slides. Stop playing. He got them comfy slides on. The shower slides.
Isn't that right?
That's correct.
All right. Matter of fact, the MRI scans also revealed that there was a unremarkable conventional brain MRI examined without contrast. Do you agree with that assessment, sir?
From a perspective of major disease, stroke, MS, anything you look at, yeah, it looks normal.
Matter of fact, the findings in the MRI scans were that the ventricles are normal in size and position without evidence for hydrocephalus.
There is no hydrocephalus. In fact, the ventricles are relatively small, indicating that he may have increased intracranial pressure.
All right, I can't hear him slur his words together anymore. I'm just gonna skip to the end. I cannot listen to him slur his words no more.
Methamphetamine would make him much more agitated, and any kind of the stimulants would make him more easily act without thinking.
Okay.
So there are controlled substances out there, depending on what he took, that could have made him a lot worse that evening.
Yes.
Now, the fact that Mr. Wilson killed a woman with his bare hands at some point in time during their conduct with each other. Then a couple of hours later, he goes out and he savagely attacks his girlfriend. And then a couple of hours after that, he goes out and kills another woman. Is that the type of conduct that you would expect and anticipate from somebody with his brain injuries?
His brain injuries, his psychiatric disease, as well as the drugs he's on, likely resulted in this awful behavior.
Well, you got to think about Aaron Hernandez because he was out there doing dumbass shit. And Aaron Hernandez wasn't like Wade Wilson. His everything was going right in his life. He may have had controversy and shit, but he had money. He was making money. He was a superstar athlete, you know, and started doing wild shit. And I honestly do believe Aaron Hernandez had brain damage that may have prompted him a bit further on the wild side of life, right? But I don't think that's the same thing for Wade Wilson, bro. One brain injury is not going to turn you into a psycho killer. One like a little defect in your brain is not going to turn you into a psycho killer when you do drugs. I don't think so. I do think Aaron Hernandez was dealing with some serious shit, like just irritable, don't know why he's paranoid, all that shit, because he was a real athlete getting hit in the head all the fucking time. But Wade Wilson, bro, I mean, I'm sure he got beat the fuck up. We can see that. We can fucking see that he got beat up, but I don't think it's at the level of CTE, self-destructive behavior like Aaron Hernandez. They're trying to run the Aaron Hernandez play. It's not going to work. Yo, Miss Phoenix Flame, thank you so much. 2-month member out here showing love. Slides look like he dropped up too. Oh, like the doped up too, though. Wait, what? Slides looks like he's doped up too. Wade Wilson looks normal to me. He just looks like the same brain dead child man that he's been. But who knows? I don't think he's really getting access to drugs. I think he's fully sober in prison. I mean, in jail. Is he in jail? Yeah, he was in jail. Now he's finally going to prison. But thank you so much for the $10, Miss Flame. Thank you. Y'all help out AG and hit the like button. I appreciate that, Michelle. Always looking out. Jumpsuit Pablo put blocks in to keep people out of his chat. Honestly, yesterday was a high traffic day and the crazies were out and about. I probably would have done it if I streamed yesterday, but I don't think I'm going to do it today. Like, if they want to pop in, we could just delete them. It's not going to be a lot of them because they're super quiet. They're super quiet today.
I don't have any further questions.
Okay. Anything else?
No, you're right. Thank you.
All right. You may step down.
You may step down.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Well, do you have any other witnesses?
No.
Okay.
We do, Your Honor.
You do? Okay. Yes. All right. We'll take a 10-minute recess. Come back then at, well, a little bit more than 10 minutes. Come back at 10 minutes to 11. So 10.
All right, cool. You said they have drugs in prison? Yeah, but Wade was in jail. So I think he didn't have the same amount of access to the drogas as, you know, you would have in jail.
Whether their deaths were permanent.
You're going to render the decision that you think is just. Obviously, it's either sentence is a terrible sentence. The sentence of death is worse in that if there is a mistake along the way and we can't correct that mistake, we can't correct the sentence after it's imposed. We'd ask that the court consider the 3 statutory mitigators the capacity of the defendant to appreciate the criminal nature of the conduct or to conform that conduct to the requirements of the law was substantially impaired. Obviously, you've heard testimony that he consumed quantity of controlled substances. He described it to the officers, said it basically made him almost insane. Defendant requires specialized treatment for mental disorder that is unrelated to substance abuse or addiction or for a physical disability, and the defendant is amenable to.
Why the cameraman put it straight at his feet though? The cameraman's devious for that one. That shit's hilarious. Oversized motherfuckers. He clearly couldn't find the size of slides he needed for his feet. I guess Kristen from the kiosk couldn't muster up the size that he needed. He looked like he needed a 13 and he has a 10. That shit is fucking funny.
Treatment. We don't know what kind of treatment that's going to be on death row. We know that he needs treatment. There's testimony to the fact that he's been on treatment. He's been on the same treatment throughout his stay in the Department of Corrections and in the Lee County Jail. He needs that medication. He needs that treatment. Defendant cooperated with the state to resolve the current offense or any other offenses. I'm sure the court recalls that Mr. Wilson provided a statement to law enforcement. At the time he provided the statement, he was not aware that they had located the second victim. He was doing that in an effort to assist the victim's family. They had already located.
The way he's putting his head back is so funny. Why is he doing that? I saw somebody say, I saw a channel, it was like expert body analysis breaks down the Wade Wilson posture. But if you do look at his posture, it's kind of assholey. Like, why are you better? It's like the better than thou stance. It's like head up. I'm better than this. Free me. I'm not supposed to be here. Like, come on. Megan said Long John Wilson. Jumpsuit Pablo had the fucking Long Johns on. That shit was hilarious. I was like, oh my God. That shit was funny. Man, shit. Wade Wilson, man, with the Long Johns.
The second victim, but he didn't know that. He provided them with details that, but for his statement, they would never have known. We have non-statutory mitigating circumstances. Defendant was born to drug-addicted teenage parents. The defendant's biological mother suffered mental illness. Defendant's mental illness presented at age 12 and was precipitated by puberty and substance abuse. Defendant was diagnosed bipolar disorder and I call it schizophrenia. It's a little bit different diagnosis. Defendant is loved by his adoptive parents, Candy and Steve Wilson, who has provided a statement to the court. Defendant is loved by his sister, which
I want
was
to hear that
reflected in the statement read to the jury. Defendant was profoundly affected by being abandoned by his biological parents. He's been a loving son to his adoptive parents, as reflected in the statement read earlier today. I remind the court that the jury's recommendation was 9-3 for one victim and 10-2 for the other. Under their previous statute, that would have required this court sentence my client to life. Likewise, I would remind the court that Mr. Wilson has been waiting trial for a long time. The unfortunate death of his previous counsel prolonged the litigation and impacted Mr. Wilson greatly. I point out to the court, lastly, obviously the court has received, and I know that you haven't read them because I have received notification from your office that these letters have been received by your office, but I know that the court would not read an ex parte communication, that the letters have been sent back to us, but obviously there are people that have been pleading for Mr. Wilson's life and for the court's mercy. There are some 40,000 people that have signed petitions to that effect.
Imagine that, 40,000 people. Do you think any of those are men? Hell nah, unless they're gay and into Wade Wilson. 40,000 women and men that want to fuck Wade Wilson. That's crazy. And they could want to fuck anybody else. But you know, it's one of those things. Humans are fucking weirdos. No, I think it's the tattoos that make him look like he's smiling. I'm not sure though.
We'd ask the court to take into consideration
Joey definitely signed that shit.
death is different, and we're asking the court to impose
If
2 life
Joey's
sentences
alive.
for Mr. Wilson.
The way Joey was sounding, we don't know if he's still with us anymore. No, he's not.
Steve.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to point out, and I agree with defense counsel, that death is in fact permanent. Christine Melton was 35 years old.
Oh, I didn't know death wasn't permanent.
Diane
Shit.
Ruiz was 43 years old. Both of their deaths were permanent. Back in June, when this court heard the facts and circumstances of this particular case surrounding the deaths of Ms. Melton and Ms. Ruiz, this court should have learned that this case was nothing more than power, control, and violence that led to murder. Mr. Wilson's decisions were not only pitiless and consciencelessness, but they amounted to tragically reducing Ms. Melton as well as Ms. Ruiz to nothing more than memories and photographs to not only their families but also to their friends. The only reason why that happened was because they both encountered Mr. Wilson. The state, back in July, went ahead and prepared a sentencing memorandum for the court to consider. The reason why the state did that, Judge, was because the state wanted the court to be aware and point out specifically the facts and circumstances supporting the aggravating circumstances and factors that the jury considered in this particular case, and that the jury specifically found proven beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. Specifically, the jury is the one that found that Mr. Wilson was previously or contemporaneously convicted of another capital felony or of a felony involving the use or threat of violence to the person. That particular fact, an aggravating factor, was established throughout the course of this trial by virtue of the verdict that was rendered by this jury when they found Mr. Wilson guilty of both counts of first-degree felony murder and first-degree premeditated murder. Secondly, Judge, the jury found beyond to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt that the capital felony was committed by a person previously convicted of a felony and under a sense of imprisonment or placed on community control or on felony.
And that big YouTuber, JD, the guy with all the tats and shit, the white guy with the tats and the red beard, he was saying that the second he gets into jail, if he goes into general population, they have a hit out on him. And I would believe what he's saying because, you know, I would just say I would believe him, you know, I would definitely believe what he's saying. So I think the prison also knows that. And I think he's going to have to do that 23-1 type shit or he's going to get killed because nobody wants him. You think the blacks like him? No. The whites especially don't like him. Who's going to take him in? Who's going to take him in? The whites want him dead. The blacks aren't going to fuck with him anyway because look at his tattoos. The Mexicans, they're not going to fuck with him. The Hispanics, nobody's fucking with him, bro. Not even the others. Like, nope. Come on now. He's going to get killed for sure, and they have to know this. I could see if he was all swastika'd out and blasted and he was actually part of the brotherhood and all that shit. Cool. You'll have a smooth life in there. But no, bro, there's too much evidence out there. They deal with straight men. That's just the way it is. Go watch JD's video. I can't remember his foot. It's JD, but you guys know the guy I'm talking about. He's very prominent in the true crime community. But yeah, he's not. Come on now. They don't tolerate that. Any little slip up, they catch you with a man or talking to a man, and let alone being a man's teddy bear. Oh no. And you got our representation on your face? We don't take kindly to that. They're going to shank his shit up. He's terrified, for sure. He's definitely terrified.
Probation. Once again, this court, as well as this jury, received
JD Delay.
testimony. Not only
There it is.
by
That guy,
virtue
JD
of
Delay.
receiving
Shout him
a
out.
certified court roll prints, a certified copy of conviction as business records, but also received the testimony from our crime scene tech who conducted the fingerprint analysis and determined that Mr. Wilson was in fact one and the same of the individuals who was convicted of 2 felonies, that being trafficking in stolen property and false information to a pawnbroker on the 18th of September of 2019. That was less than a month before these murders occurred.
Let me see if they brought the comments back. Okay, the
That
comments
was
are just
established-
off. The comments are actually just off now. That's crazy.
Beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt, and the jury concurred unanimously on both of those. Capital felony was especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel. Judge, this particular factor screams for justice. The homicides by which Ms. Melton and Ms. Ruiz died at the hands of Mr. Wilson sets this case apart from normal capital felonies because, once again, it's conscienceless and it's pitiless. And it's unnecessarily torturous to both Ms. Ruiz as it was to Ms. Melton. You heard about the fingernails being broken, the many bruises to their body, of the face, the swollen eyes, the contusions, the bruising all over the torso and arms, the hemorrhages on both sides of their neck, the scalp bruising, the contusions to the lungs, contusions to the liver, to the back of the bladder, to the colon. Her brain was swollen. That was just Miss Melton. And then we have Miss Ruiz. She had the fracture of the nasal bone, the laceration to her left breast, her bruising on both sides of her body, the bruising on the back of her left forearm and on the back of her left hand, the fracture of her fourth finger, the bruising on her right arm, the contusions on her upper back, the hyoid bone, the trachea cartilage being broken, the multiple rib fractures in the front and to the back. And then we have the hemorrhage on the back of her neck. And then you couple that with the fact that Mr. Wilson went ahead and placed his hands around the necks of both of these women and allowed their lives to slip through his fingers when both of them knew they were going to die.
All right. Let's skip on over to the sentencing and see what the fuck they got to say here.
And least mitigating circumstances exist.
Oh, we finally get to hear the judge speak.
Aggravating and mitigating.
Like, actually speak.
So I have considered all of the testimony and evidence, arguments of counsel, applicable case law, and statutes. I have prepared a written sentencing order, which I will file contemporaneously with the pronouncement of the sentence here today. I also have copies for the state and defense, which I'll hand out once I conclude. So in the state of Florida versus Stephen Wade Wilson, or Wade Stephen Wilson, case number 19 CF 568, the court will read aloud the portion of the sentencing order related to the sentencing circumstances and proportionality. In evaluating the aggravating and mitigating factors, the court does not engage in a mere counting procedure, but instead makes a reasoned judgment based on the totality of the circumstances. In reaching this decision, the court is mindful that because death is a unique punishment in its finality, its application is reserved only for those cases where the most...
Wait, I skipped where he spoke? Hold on. We can't miss that. We can't miss that.
Diminished by the.
Hold on.
Testimony or
He should be.
Your Honor, was stated at the
okay. Of course, your opportunity, if you wish to address the court, you may. No one can force you to. No one can force you not to. Is there anything you would like to address with the court? Okay. Then we will be in recess. It's
He didn't speak. What happened? What did I miss?
2:20 now. I'm going to spend some time on the sentencing order. So we will come back here at 4 o'clock. And I'll present the sentencing order at that time. Oh, another question before we go. I apologize. I know the state presented a written sentencing memorandum.
Oh, he does look scared. He looks terrified, actually. He looks terrified, actually.
Defense, I know you presented orally your
Right,
sentencing arguments. Was there anything else in writing that you
No,
wanted
sir.
to present?
Thank you.
All right. There was a PSI done. Did you all receive the pre-sentence investigation report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And for sentencing purposes, I know that there were other charges that the jury found the defendant guilty of. If you would prepare any statutorily mandated fines, fees, or costs that are associated with those charges, do you have that? If you don't, that's okay.
I can't recite those, Judge. That's not a problem. I
Okay.
have a score sheet as it relates to those additional charges as well.
Very well. Have you shown that to the defense?
Yes, Judge.
Any objection to that?
You know that's a conscious decision to do that, right? The little finger-to-finger bullshit he's doing. You know that's a super conscious decision. You don't just rest your hands like that. He's trying so hard to be fucking cool. Like, oh, this is chill. I'm chilling. My fingers are together. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm chilling. Like, I'm so relaxed right now. Shitting himself.
I'll accept that. All right, if there's nothing else for the court to consider, then we will recess and I will prepare a sentencing order and come back here, said what, 4 o'clock.
Thank you.
We'll be in recess.
All right, well, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Jim, you're going to have to send me a timestamp or something. Yeah, and then it's just this investigator. You'll have to send me a timestamp or something, y'all. I'll go back to it. It was before this segment. Ay, ay, ay. All right, hold on.
Ultimately, the central nervous system, when we have injury or loss of nerve.
Best the court would like.
Let's say a windshield, your brain's also moving at that same speed and will slam into the skull. And that will
August 21st, I think. If Mr. Wilson had suffered traumatic brain injury, and I'm not sure how you level that.
Sure.
But, I mean, not everything is like a complete blow to the
Yeah.
brain. But if he did suffer that, and it could,
I'm not going for this. I'm finna just find the
nerve
clip.
cells by injury, let's that nerve
I'm just gonna find the clip. Don't trip.
brain and you
I'm gonna find it.
if it's
But we're gonna find it at the end. Let's just get to the let's get the sentencing done, and then we'll just go on TikTok because TikTok has everything.
He's from the defendant or all.
Here we go. All right, here we go. Don't worry, I'll find it. Don't trip. You found the link on TikTok. See, Tabitha.
Let the
There
record
you go.
reflect
Send it in
that
the chat
State's
if you have
President,
it.
Defense Counsel, and the defendant are all present. We're here for sentencing. Was there anything else that the court needed to address prior to sentencing?
no,
All right. So I have considered all of the testimony and evidence, arguments of counsel, applicable case law, and statutes. I have prepared a written sentencing order, which I'll file
Let me write it down so I don't forget.
with the pronouncement of the sentence here today. I also have copies for the state and defense, which I'll hand out once I conclude. So in the state of Florida versus Wade Stephen Wilson, case number 19 CF 568, the court will read aloud the portion of the sentencing order related to the sentencing circumstances and proportionality. In evaluating the aggravating and mitigating factors, the court does not engage in a mere counting procedure.
Thank you, Jim.
But instead makes a reasoned judgment based on the totality of the circumstances. In reaching this decision, the court is mindful that because death is a unique punishment in its finality, its application is reserved only for those cases where the most aggravating and least mitigating circumstances exist. The law never requires the imposition of a death sentence.
My phone died.
In this case, the totality of the circumstances indicates the defendant, with premeditation, beat and strangled Christine Melton in her home before stealing her vehicle and driving to meet his girlfriend, Melissa Montanez. After Montanez refused to get into the car with him, the defendant battered her in broad daylight. The defendant told law enforcement, when Ms. Montanez managed to flee from the defendant, he fled the scene and drove back to Cape Coral, where he decided that he would murder another person. He saw Diane Ruiz walking to work and pulled over, pretending to ask for directions. She got into the car to provide directions, but the defendant strangled her when she tried to exit. He then drove to an empty lot, strangling her into unconsciousness at least one additional time on the way there. When she tried to flee from the car, he drove over her at least one time, inflicting mortal injuries to her spine, ribs, and neck. The evidence showed that both murders were heinous, atrocious, and cruel, and that the second murder was cold,
You could tell Judge don't give a fuck. He felt he about to drop that hammer.
premeditated. The defendant inflicted serious physical and emotional pain to the victims. Moreover, the defendant committed the murders while on probation for prior felony convictions, and he committed 2 first-degree murders contemporaneously with each other and with grand theft of a motor vehicle, battery, and burglary of a dwelling. There were no statutory mitigating circumstances that were established, but the court considered the non-statutory mitigating circumstances presented by the defendant. Out of 13 enumerated non-statutory mitigating factors, the court found that 10 had been established.
Shit.
Out of those established, 6 were given little weight. The totality of the mitigating circumstances indicates that the defendant suffers from drug use from a young age, along with undiagnosed and untreated mental health issues of some kind. He felt abandoned by his biological parents, but had a devoted adoptive family.
That abandonment, I don't agree with that. Feeling abandoned by your biological parents, you don't even know who the fuck those people are until you turn like 13, 14, 15. So if he had an actual good home and, you know, what they say, you know, good foster parents or whatever, why would you turn out to be a monster? You know, it doesn't make sense. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. So that whole thing like, oh, he felt abandoned. You shouldn't feel abandoned if you have good parents. You don't know the difference until you find out like, oh, I was adopted. Okay, I guess we'll figure that out. Like, you know, it's not as traumatizing. So that's bullshit in my opinion.
Raised him in a supportive and loving environment. Defendant did not resist law enforcement when arrested and confessed fully to both murders. The court has further considered giving great weight to the advisory verdict of the jury, who recommended that the death penalty be imposed by a vote of 9-3 on count 1 for the murder of Christine Melton and a vote of 10-2 on count 4 for the murder of Diane Ruiz. The court recognizes that there is no mathematical formula for considering the aggravating and mitigating factors. It is not enough to weigh the number of aggravators against the number of mitigators. The court carefully considered the nature and quality of each aggravator and mitigator. Having reviewed all of the aggravating factors proven beyond a reasonable doubt and all of the mitigating circumstances reasonably established by the evidence, The court finds that the aggravating factors greatly outweigh mitigating circumstances. Given the facts of the case, nothing in defendant's background or mental state would suggest that a death sentence is inappropriate. This court's review of other reported capital cases has led the court to conclude that the death penalty is not disproportionate in this case.
Damn. Yep. Start shitting yourself. Just start pissing and shitting. Maybe they'll take you out of the room and put you in a psych ward. I don't know. Start banging your head against the wall. I don't know. Do something. ASAP.
Under the totality of the circumstances and evidence, the court finds no basis to override the jury's verdict. The totality of the circumstances warrants that the defendant, Wade Stephen Wilson, be sentenced to death for each count of first-degree murder. Accordingly, it is ordered and adjudged that the defendant, Wade Stephen Wilson, be sentenced as follows. Count 1, first-degree murder of Christine Melton. The defendant is hereby sentenced to death. Count 2, grand theft of a motor vehicle. The defendant is sentenced to 5 years imprisonment in the Florida Department of Corrections.
It's
Count
over for,
3,
bro.
battery. The defendant is hereby sentenced to 364 days in the Lee County Jail.
It's over with, bro.
Count 4, first-degree murder of Diane Ruiz. The defendant is hereby sentenced to death. Count 5, the burglary of a
He
dwelling.
is smiling. It looks like he is smiling now at this point. Trying to act like it ain't bothering him. Look at his face, though. It looks like somebody fucked his face up. You notice how this side goes up and then this side goes down? Like, look at his lips. This side goes up and then this side goes down. That looks like an unnatural mug he's got there. Like somebody may have, did some things to him back there. One more time. Up. This side goes up. Look at that. That side goes down. It looks like his lip has been opened up a few times, is all I'm saying.
It's to 15 years imprisonment in the Florida Department of Corrections.
Look at that. That's why it looks like it's smiling. I'm covering it with my hand. But if you cover your phone or your screen with your hand and you look on the other side of his face, on the right side, it's almost like Two-Face. He's not smiling at all. It almost looks like a frown. And then if you look on the other side, it's tilted upward. I think that looks like a scar, but I can't tell because of the tattoos. But that looks like maybe a scar, like a busted open scar from this side. And it's like going up.
6, petty theft. The defendant is hereby sentenced to 364 days in Lee County Jail. The defendant is given credit for all time served on this case on all counts.
Man, that gotta be the biggest fuck you ever. He's giving credit for time served when they're gonna fucking kill him. That's gotta be the biggest slap in the face. Yeah, we'll give you time served for those, for the grand theft charge and all that. We'll give you time served. And this one is death. You're gonna die. We're gonna kill you. But, we'll give you time served for the other one. Don't even trip. What the fuck?
Run concurrent with each other, meaning at the
Somebody said wiggly face emoji. You're funny. I can't say your name or else I would have said your name. Intrapri?
same time.
Interpre?
All statutorily mandated fines, fees, and costs as announced on the record are imposed, and the defendant is committed to the custody of the Department of Corrections for execution of this sentence as provided by law. The defendant is hereby notified that these convictions and sentences are subject to automatic review by the Florida Supreme Court. If he cannot afford an attorney to represent him in any appeal, the court will appoint one for him. Are there any other matters to present to the court?
Briefly, Judge, the state would be seeking $17,500 cost of prosecution.
I'm sorry, how much?
$17,500, Judge.
All right. Any objection?
No, sir.
All right. That will be imposed then.
There goes your tax dollars right there again. Flushed down to shit. There goes our tax dollars, folks, into one of these cases. 17,000. Oh, that's fine. Sure. Yeah. Sounds good. Shitting out our tax dollars, but I'm not even going to get into it. Fuck taxes. Fuck taxes. Anyway, yeah, sucks. I mean, shit. At least if I knew my shit was going to something good.
Any other terms or conditions?
Absolutely, Judge. We just want to make sure that Mr. Wilson has absolutely no contact with the victim's family in this particular matter.
There'll be no contact ordered with any of the victim's family members and anything else.
Thank you.
All right.
Judge, I understand he has other cases pending here and elsewhere. Mr. Wilson
Somebody said pubic chin. Yo, he do have a pubic chin. I'm not gonna lie. I would not lie to you. I would not lie to you. He does have a fucking pubic chin. That boy can't grow no facial hair. Now listen, I can't grow a full beard, but I at least got a little some. You know, we got a little bush or something. We got the goatee in full effect. At least that man, he can't even grow. Shit. My only problem is this. You know, sad. It's just a sad thing. You know, I guess I don't know the African genes or something happened to where I just couldn't get it. But yeah, he really got the short end of the stick.
As soon as possible.
Okay. Well, in relation to those other cases, I know we have cases pending here in the circuit. Today is not the day to handle those. I would maybe put those, I could do it as early as September 16th. I believe that's Monday morning.
That's Malcolm's case, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor. Malcolm Donald from Mr. Wade Wilson. September 16th would be fine, but.
Okay. Well, I think it'd be more appropriate to handle that at a different time. So let's do that September 16th then at 9 a.m. for the other cases, which are case numbers.
20 CF 16591 and 23 CF 15499.
Okay. And we have court on 16th, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, if I may, he also has a VOP warrant out of Broward County, Palm Beach County. I'm going to get in touch with the authorities over there, but if need be, we'll ask the court to ROR him on that VOP warrant so he can be taken up to.
Well, that's
start.
not a motion in front of me today, but if you certainly be able to file whatever you want to file, and
Yes, sir.
I'll consider it.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
Not from the state judge.
All right, sir. Then, Mr. Wilson, you will be fingerprinted and remanded to the sheriff's department. It'll be held without bond and for transport to the Department of Corrections when it's appropriate. If nothing else, then we're adjourned.
Ain't that some shit? Wade wanted to get.
And I'll give you your
Oh.
copies.
Come on, officer, chill. Chill, officer. Come on, chill out, officer.
We're adjourned.
You notice Wade wanted to get this. You notice Wade wanted to get directly out of there. You know why? He wants to go straight to his little cell and cry. Maybe his little cell boyfriend could come and, you know, rub his head and shit. He needs to get out. He needs to get out of there and cry, folks. He was holding back that cry for too long. Let it out, my boy. Let that shit out. Look how fast he left. Let it out, bro. Let it out. Let it out. It's cool. You have years to do that on death row. Just
Mr.
let
Shirley
it out.
or Mr. Hollander? Well, one for the state, one for the defense.
Hey, holy shit. Donna Burrows, man. Shit. Shout you out for the $9.99. I appreciate that 10. 9-month member here. Sneakily. Is that a word? Sneakily-ing up on 1 year. That fucked me up. Sneaking up on 1 year. I appreciate you. So I know. Oh, it's just a typo. Sneaking up on 1 year. I appreciate you, Donna. Thank you so much for the love, man. Almost a year. There's a couple folks in here that's about to get the Flamin' AG Tactical badge, and I'm excited. I think I'm more excited than you guys are. Because when I get to see the chat and I get to see somebody's AG on fire, that's just about to be crazy. I'm so sorry. Jesus Christ. I need to go eat something. It's about to be crazy. But shout you out, Donna. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. You know? More than you know. More than you know. All right. Jim said, call the ambulance. Bro, finna cry for real, though. I swear to God. Hold on. Is there anything else? Is there any more footage? No more footage?
Last minute change the plan.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I almost turned it off. I'm glad I saw this. What is this? Oh, it's the victory lap. Do we want to see the victory lap? I think we want to see the victory lap. Real quick. All right, ladies. Get your little American flag going. Yes, yes. Let that bitch flow in the wind. I like that. Shit. Okay, Queen. Oh. That sounds terrible.
Test.
Oh. I got like, man, the headsets. If you guys aren't wearing headsets, this shit's assaulting my ears. Why would they publicize this? Why wouldn't they just turn the stream off? They could have just started from that position where they're all lined up. But hey, I'm not their media crew. I would do good on a media crew. Now that I have, I would do good on a media crew. I feel like I'd be getting all the angles. AG
Good
Tactical,
afternoon, everybody.
AG Tactical would be on the fucking case. Listen, you guys would be like, damn, that camera shit is dope. You know why? It's because AG was out there doing his shit. But just saying, just saying.
I'm State Attorney Amira Fox. Thank you for joining us here today. As moments ago, we saw justice served for victims Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz.
Sounds like after 5 years.
Defendant Wade Wilson
Sounds like
was
fireworks.
sentenced to death for the horrendous, atrocious, and cruel crimes that he committed. He was sentenced by the Honorable Nick Thompson, and this was the appropriate sentence for this evil monster. Standing here with me today is the family of Christine Melton, the family of Diane Ruiz. We are all so sorry for your loss. Also standing with me here today are Assistant State Attorneys Andreas Gardner and Sarah Miller of our Homicide Unit and our Chief Assistant Rich Money Calvo.
Yo, what's
These
up?
amazing
God
prosecutors
Shame,
who
what's
did
up?
this
How you
case
doing?
Have dedicated years
Shout you out,
of
yo.
their lives to this legal work, making sure to seek justice for these victims and their families. I also have with me our Cape Coral Police Chief, Tony Sizemore. I want us all to remember first and foremost that today, as every day, is about the victims of this case, Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz. They were two beautiful and wonderful women with their whole lives ahead of them. And they were cherished and loved by family, friends, and their community. I would now like the family to speak about Christine and Diane. And first of all, Christine's family, her cousin Samantha, is here with us today. Come on up, Samantha.
Hi. As a family, we have all been really quiet because it was so important to the integrity of this case. Wade supporters have not been quiet, but we all know that the loudest ones are always the dumb ones anyways. But we're done being quiet. So I will say that this will not be the last that Wade Wilson sees of us in a courtroom. I think most importantly, I wanted to say thank you to Sarah and Andreas for hanging in there with us, because this has been 5 years of agony, and without them, I don't know that we would be here today. So I think that's most important to us, is to say thank you to them and to everyone that helped us on this path. And I think that's all I've got.
Thank you, Samantha. And now to speak on behalf of Diane, her father, Felix.
Yes. My name is Felix Ruiz, the father of Diane. I didn't get to say I love her and I miss her. But I also like to thank the state attorney and all the law enforcement involved in this case to make this day become the reality of today. I'd like you know that this is not the end. The end is when the accused takes his last breath, and I will be there at the execution. That's a promise. Thank you.
Oh shit, it's short and sweet. I like that. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna show up.
Thank you, Felix. We all stand with all of you in your terrible loss.
All right, that's pretty much it. I don't want to hear her corporate bullshit, to be honest. We got to hear from the family. That was pretty much the whole direction I wanted to go. You know, people like this, they don't give a fuck. Let's just keep it real. But I'm glad we got to hear the dad and the moms and all that shit. And best believe he's gonna be there at that execution. He did not lie. There were no lies told in that statement. I like that he kept that shit short and sweet too. I wish Wade Wilson was there to hear it, but you know, he'll get to see him before he closes his eyes and never opens them again. So, you know, it's gonna be a beautiful thing. But anyways, people, I'm gonna go ahead and hop up out of here. I got hella shit I gotta start doing. Keep your eyes open for Tiffany Hinyard. I have a new video coming really soon. More information coming out. Bunch of credit card spending. I mean, the shopping lists go hard. So we're gonna talk about that in a few hours. Keep in mind of that. Keep that in mind. And then we also have the Thornton Township meeting that we're gonna stream. We're gonna check that out today. And that's going to be later on in the evening. I think it's going to be 3:30 PST, so keep your eyes open for that. And we have Cooking with Tiff also. She's going to do that shit. So I'm going to tap in. I'm going to figure out where she's going to post her Cooking with Tiff content. And we're going to go ahead. We might not get to live stream it because that is today as well. It might be happening right now. Who knows? It probably is happening right now. So we're probably going to have to do a video recap on the Cooking with Tiff episode that she wants to release while the feds are about to take her stupid ass to jail. So we got a few things to do today. No, thank you for pulling through. Oh, what's up, Mary? How you doing? I appreciate that. Thank you for the great live. Hell yeah, I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys got to come out. But yeah, we got things to do today, people. Keep an eye out for the Hinyard shit. That's about to be hilarious. I wanted to make it last night, but I was too tired, so we're gonna go ahead and do that today. What else? That, and then we have Cooking with Tiff. That's coming soon as well. So we're gonna have a good day. We're gonna have a good ass day. But that's it, folks. I'm gonna get up out of here. And my stream is tanking. I don't know if you guys noticed I'm buffering a little bit. The stream is fucking tanking for some reason. So this is the best time to go ahead and dip out. Everybody,